Welcome to the Seasons of Singleness podcast. I am your hostess with the mostest, Tiffany Sneebrose. Seasons of Singleness. Seasons of Singleness. All right. Hey y'all. Excuse the appearance. Sometimes even though I be in the house, right? Sometimes I definitely try to at least look like something. But yeah, I just came from the gym and I had to record this episode. I wasn't necessarily prolonging it, but I was just like, I need to record this. Stop playing. Let's record it. Let's get it over with. Let's do the things, right? So again, you saw the trigger warning in the beginning. I do just want to make this very clear that we'll be talking about some serious shit. Okay. I'm not sure all that is going to come up, so I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But again, if there is ever a moment where you feel like you need to pause or you need to contact somebody, I'm going to put my email here. Please feel free to reach out to me directly if you want to chit chat about anything that is said. If you need someone to pray with you, please feel free. Hit me up. Yes. Okay. Now that that's out the way. So last episode, we just discussed understanding that I have a lot of things that I have to combat, right, as it pertains to me as a person. And I just saw something with, and forgive me if I said her name wrong. It was Dr. Anita Phillips, and she was basically saying like, we in a stage, right, for a lot of us that are healing or taking our healing journeys, and we feel as though we're owed something from the people that hurt us. And while, yes, be entitled to that feeling, also understand that notion or the action of you actually getting the apology that you so desperately seek is not going to be the thing that saves you, right? Like, and she even talks about how working and how we as people, right? Because that's the one thing that I'm learning about as it pertains to my parents. As people, we are all fighting for our lives. You add an extra additive or extra layer in there when you have children or pets, right? So it's like there are times I have to apologize to Socks because I'm like, I'm frustrated and you want this need met and I can't meet it right now. And I have people, he probably thinks that I'm crazy, but I feel like it's necessary. Even if you can't understand what I'm saying, you feel what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to neglect you on purpose, but I need to let you know that I don't have capacity for you right now. And he'll eventually get it and go about his business. But I wonder like what life would be like for a lot of us who are on these journeys if someone would have just literally had the words or the language to say, I don't have it to give to you. And I know that that's different. My mentor and I, my spiritual mother and I, we have conversations all the time around topics such as this. It is very different for someone who grew up in the 80s, the 70s, the 60s to have those conversations versus someone who grew up in the 90s, the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, right? Those conversations look different because we're able to bring language to the table versus before yeah, I'm in my feels, but I can't tell you that I'm in my feels because no one told me how to be in my feels. And for those reasons, it's like, okay, I'm learning to forgive my parents. I'm not saying that there aren't moments of irritation. Y'all saw me mad last episode. There still aren't moments of irritation or moments where I slip up myself or moments where I'm not necessarily holding on to things anymore. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm getting there, right? But those moments come up and that's real. That is very real. But she talks about, I'm going back, ADHD. Going back to what I was saying about Dr. Anita Phillips, she talks about how she's presently in therapy with her daughter and it still doesn't work. Like, because we have to get that thing off of us. Like, you now have this little person to protect. So little Tiffany is the person that I have to protect. I am forced to protect her, right? Especially because not to say I no longer have my parents. Lord, what is happening? Okay, I still got one. But it was like, how do you do that? Number one, that like when you don't have the people to talk to, or I don't have the language, right? To say, yo, you fucked me up. I ain't got it. Because that's exactly how it's gonna come out. Um, just being honest. And what I thought about or what came to mind was like really the realization of where the trauma comes from or where that feeling comes from. So it's like, okay, having a conversation with self. I gotta check the mics. Talking to self just to figure out, okay, well, what is this? Where does this lie? And the next, check my notes. I'll tell y'all the truth. The next 3 episodes are literally going to be about the realization of the trauma, right? Or the realization of the thing. This first one, of course, being every girl's, not every, I ain't about to put that in the world because some of y'all got some good daddies, but the first one for a lot of my sister girls who experience daddy issues, right? That's the first thing. So long story short, I'm finding out these things about my father now that he is no longer here, and we'll get into what that looks like soon. But I remember being a young lady in elementary, middle school, and they had like this father-daughter dance, right? Um, and I grew up. I was born 1991, so y'all know they wasn't as lit as they are now because I saw a video with a father daughter dance and Zaddy's was in there getting it, okay? But yeah, so we had a father daughter dance. So it was like father daughter something. I don't know if it was breakfast or it was something that was happening that day. And my uncle came for me. So one of my friends was like, "Hey, is that your dad?" And I was like, "No, that's my uncle. My dad is dead," right? And I think I said that maybe like a few times. So my teacher, y'all know this was back when teachers really gave a fuck. Not to say that y'all don't give a fuck now, but yeah, they was popping up. We ain't had no school counselors or no community school coordinators or no team care coordination. These teachers was teachering, okay? Um, but yeah, I remember my teacher called my mom and was like, "Hey, sorry for your loss." And she's like, "Well, what is happening? What?" Um, I want to say it was similarly to that conversation of Boys in the Hood when she called, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm going by memory and shit, and that's probably fucked up. So take it with a grain of salt. But But I remember my mom and the teacher like having a conversation around like her dad isn't dead, right? So for me, that was realization number one. I, as a child, because my mom would never have a conversation about my father with me. She never bashed this man, to my knowledge, anyway. Like I've never experienced my mother like talking shit about my father ever. Um, she was like, "Girl, your daddy not dead. Like he just ain't shit. So it is what it is, right?" Not necessarily that, but it was just like, okay, cool. I think in her mind, it was like, all right, let me at least reach out to him. So what she told me had happened was my dad was involved in drug trafficking, right? So for those of you who understand, there is a lot of drug foot traffic that happens from New York to Baltimore, both being cities with like ports and things like that. So shit happens. Like it is what it is. Um, so she worked in this department store and they met. He was in there buying clothes. I guess he thought she was fly, whatever, whatever. They did the do around Valentine's Day ish. And me, I was conceived. Lo and behold, this man was married. Again, he's selling drugs and shit. So it's like, all right, what the fuck? My mom was raised by her godmom, who wound up being like my primary family. He always want to do the most. He's always gonna be a guest, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Uh but they wound up being my primary family. These are the people that kind of gave me my morals, right? So only people that really took us to church and understanding the things, right? So it's like, okay, cool. My grounding, my footing was in this. So apparently, this lady, not necessarily that she got shunned out, but and we'll get into my mom's story later. But like the things make sense when I'm able to piece those pieces together for you guys. Well, for me anyway. I ain't. It's not fuck y'all, but it's about me. See. Nope. See, I had to get a new mic. I looked down, that thing was black, and I'm traumatized. But no, so it's definitely not fuck y'all. It's very much this is a me thing, so it is what it is. I'm recalling my own story. Y'all just need to listen for the ride. But yeah, so uh my mom already went through like difficulties like her life, right? So it's just like, okay, cool. I have this person now. And I just found out that she didn't know that she was pregnant with me until she was about 3 months pregnant. Uh Birth was smooth. She said she did not experience any pain. I'm like, girl, this your first child. Little did she know I was coming out to be a hellion. Okay. So maybe that's why. I don't know. I don't know. But she was 32. And this was probably like one of, he my daddy was smooth. I don't know about nobody else daddy. He was smooth. He was smooth. And he made some beautiful kids. Me and my siblings, my sister looks just like smack like me. My nieces look smack like me too, and the fact that we only share the same daddy just lets me know that this is where I get. Not right now, because I got these bags. But yeah, yeah. But no, yeah, so they met that way. When she told him, I guess that she had conceived, he's like, people are telling him that that's not his kid. This is a story that she told me. That his family or whoever was just like, that's not your child, yada yada yada, like all this shit, right? So she said that she was like, fuck it. The family, it's one thing if you don't want to be a part of somebody's life, right? But to shun the family or whatever is a whole different thing. And I think she just was like, I don't want you to go through life like that. So she tried, and the people was just being fucking rude. So, and I'll get into why that pissed me off even more. But yeah, they was being rude, and yeah, she was just like, fuck it. Which I understand. I would have been like, fuck it too. You're not living a great lifestyle for me to even bring my child to, like, who the fuck knows what is going to happen. And it could be anything. Anything. I got to do the most to get my kid back, or shit. Anything. Right. So it's like, all right, I get it. But also, too, that added layer of I ain't got no support nowhere. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. The gym, child, the gym. Now I'm itchy. I ain't got no added support anywhere, so now I'm forced to figure this out. Like, so it's like, all right, cool, let me do that. And she did that for a long time. Without the means of education, without the means of resources, like, sis made it do what it do. And I applaud her. I applaud her for doing her thing, doing what she could, and the capacity in which she could do, and the fact that I was able to have just others around me to help with filling in those gaps, made it very, just made it what it was. But we'll get into all that later. We're talking about my daddy. So fast forward, I'm probably like 7 to 11. I forget which grade I was in. I know I still had buck teeth. It was a lot going on. But yeah, he came to my house randomly, just random. I remember. Oh, I'm missing the part. I remember kind of like going to DC because my grandfather lived in DC. So going to DC to meet with my grandfather. I guess my grandfather talked some sense into this man, and I met him in DC. I remember going to a funeral. I met my siblings. Apparently, that's what he does. I went to my grandfather's funeral, met my siblings. But apparently that's what he does. And because they met our other brother the same way. Like, my sister and brother have the same mother. So their relationship with my dad was a lot, I ain't gonna say a lot better. I think the only one that really had a relationship with my dad was my sister. Uh, but yeah, according to my brother, child, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, apparently we had a brother. He passed. He met them the exact same way, like through a funeral, and they walked up. Him and his mom met the kids, met daddy, and got the fuck. We did the same. I don't think we stayed for the funeral. I don't remember. Ew. Um, from there, yeah, I didn't hear from him for a while. I don't know what happened or what transpired from there. But after a while, I didn't hear from him. But apparently, I was like younger. I was on the younger side. But I do remember us walking and doing the things. But anyway, long story short. Well, long story longer. My bad. He came to my house. He popped up at my house. I remember just randomly waking up, and he was in our living room, and he had my nephew with him. At the time, he was so cute and cuddly. First of all, my sister didn't even know that this man got on the fucking bus, on the Greyhound, with her son to come to Baltimore to come pick me up so I could stay with them. Mind you, I told you before he was married, so he didn't even tell his wife that he was going. I think randomly, and my dad was just random and shit like that. I think randomly he was just like, fuck it, I'm going to Baltimore. Went for fucking coffee or something. It was just like, hey, I'm just gonna catch a Greyhound. It's about to be what it's gonna be. And I'm like, okay, cool. Do what you gotta do, Tank. But I wound up staying in New York for like a few days. I think I was supposed to stay the summer or something like that. He went and got me some clothes and little things. I went to the summer camp that he was working at. It was it was cool for the most part. But once I got to that house, baby, living in that apartment with his wife, she was just bitter as fuck. I remember specifically, she was just trying to make me uncomfortable. I guess like she was fussing and they did all of this stuff. But again, he ain't even tell her that you bringing your bastard child. Like she knew about me. So here I am there, but mind you, I'm a kid. Literally, I'm no older than 11. I am a child. So when I came in, she was doing all this whoop de whoop, yada yada yada, and child, like really giving it to his ass, like really giving it to him. I was there again for a few days. So after a while, like I guess she kind of just softened up, and her way of softening up was like I remember us being in the kitchen. I guess like I was helping her cook dinner or some shit like that. I forget what we were doing in the kitchen. Maybe she was making me a sandwich or something. It was something. I don't know. But we was in the kitchen together. And she was like, I really want to apologize to you. You don't deserve me to treat you like that. You're a nice young lady, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. I'm just sitting and taking it in because, child, if y'all think I'm petty now, baby, I was petty at T with no fucking control. I said whatever the fuck I wanted to say. So I'm just sitting there listening to her talk and explain her side of the story. And I'm just like, okay, cool. Um, she goes on to say, yeah, if I knew your mother when she was pregnant, you wouldn't have been born because I would have stabbed her in the stomach. And I'm like, oh, okay. My father came home. I was like, I want to go home. Mind you, I was supposed to stay there for a while. He was like, what's wrong? I want to go home. I really just want to go home. I'm very uncomfortable. I really want to go home. So he takes me home. I didn't tell him what had happened or whatever because I don't know the situation and I don't know either one of you well enough to have a conversation right then and there. Like I don't fucking know y'all. I went home. I told my mother what the fuck that lady said. She called and wed that man the fuck out. Okay. And then from there, it was like, well, that's not my kid. They were saying that's not my child, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, okay, cool. I remember specifically after that incident, us going down to, I don't know if it was Concentra before, but right now it's Concentra. It's down here on Lombard. Is that Lombard Street? Anyway, it's down here downtown. And I remember us going over there. I remember those little the Polaroid cameras. I'm probably dating myself. But they was like the long ones. They had like little funky colors and stuff. I don't know if y'all remember that. But I had to take a DNA test. And it came back that I was his kid. He doing all this whoop-de-whoop, all this shit, right? So I was just like, all right, fuck him. From there, it was fuck him. Like, fuck him, fuck you, fuck your wife. Like, fuck everybody. I ain't never got to talk to y'all ever again in my motherfucking life. I think I kept in contact with the lady Miss Pat for a while, like via letters and stuff. And yeah, fast forward, times pass. I'm now in high school. It's my senior year, and his wife dies. And he calls my mom like, hey, I would love for her to be there. And I went the fuck off. By this time, my mom got married, not remarried. She was never married. My mom got married. So we living in this house and doing the things with our little blended family and family. And I went off. And my stepfather was like, well, you don't have to go anywhere. I'm like, I know. Because I'm not. I'm like, fuck her, fuck him. I'm happy she gone. Like, I was really going off because it was just like, I was so hurt from the entire situation. Like, number one, just thinking about how I didn't even have it in my mind that you don't fuck with me enough to want me, right? To now, okay, now you not even claiming me after you done did all this shit. We done met several times in DC and wherever else, like, but now, and then you take me out of my home. I didn't even ask you to come get me. You take me out of my home just to bring me to New York to a situation that you didn't even, like, you didn't think through all the fucking way. You just living on a motherfucking whim to put me in harm's way, number one. Whether or not she would have done anything to me physically, but you emotionally abused, like, you're a woman. Emotionally abusing somebody because you couldn't have fucking children. Apparently, I'm still upset. But yeah, like I ain't fuck with it. For lack of a better term, I did not fuck with it at all, and I ain't fuck with him. Basically, you let it happen was my assumption, right? So I didn't talk to him. This was I graduated 2010. Yeah, because I failed a grade for not going to school. For y'all, I lived a life. We'll probably get into that later. I don't know, but fuck it, we're here.
Jesus Christ.
Um, so fast forward, now I am in college. I've been to school. All of these things have happened. It is now 2017. And yeah, I was like, all right, I'm kind of done with the shit. Like, folks are reaching out to me like 2016, 2015. People all on my Facebook page and doing all this other extra shit. I guess my dad was looking for me, right? He's trying to contact me. And I'm sorry, Socks is doing the fucking most. I don't know if the mic is picking it up. My dad is trying to contact me. He's trying to find me. So he's sending my niece, my sister, my brothers, like people who are more tech savvy to kind of find me. So people are writing on, not even sending me messages, right? This one lady, one of the ladies who told my father that I wasn't fucking his. You done went hard for this shit. Now you all on my motherfucking stories. Or my wall. Post it on my wall like, hey, your father's trying to contact you. May God bless this union. And I cussed her the fuck out. And typically, I'm not very, like, I am not, as it pertains to my elders, I am not like a disrespectful person. I'm just not. But, you see this shit? Yo, see this shit? What I gotta deal with on a regular basis. And watch you about to knock that down while I'm talking. Focus. But what you're not about to do is all this whoop-de-whoop. Like, you did all of this shit. You are literally a part of the reason why he's not in my life. So what the fuck is you trying to connect for? Go about your business, lady. Wildin'. I'm like, if you know what he did, then you would know why I'm not in a space to talk to him. So with all due respect, fuck you, fuck him. And that's how I felt. But it wasn't until like and I had at the time I had canceled or not I canceled, but you know how Facebook Messenger became a thing. So I had cut that off because I had received this message from this girl that she was fucking with my man. And I think y'all remember that from season 1, but yeah, so I cut it off. Like, I'm not re-downloading, especially now the fact that it's 2 different fucking apps. Like, I don't want to do this. So I didn't re-download it. But it wasn't until 2017 where I found a message. I reopened it for whatever reason. And I found a message. And I was like, well, let me read it. And it was from my niece. And my niece was like, hey, I think that you are such and such and such and such. We would love to get in contact with you. And yeah, I wound up calling just to have a conversation. And after a few conversations, I wound up riding out there with my ex-boyfriend. So we drove to New York. We stayed in Yonkers, which was crazy. And we just kind of drove around for a little bit. met up with my dad, and that was like I didn't know my sister, my niece, my ex-boyfriend, and I went downtown to enjoy a meal, and we had a few drinks at BBQs and left and did the things and caught up, and it was time for us to go meet my dad. Now I, mind you, was holding on to all of this shit, so I'm just like, what the fuck? um but when I got there, it was really weird. Definitely probably was the alcohol, right? But it was really weird. Like, once I got to his door, it wasn't necessarily about anything that I didn't feel or whatever. For me, it was like, okay, this man is in a space where now he wants to make amends. Give him the opportunity. Like, he apologized and did the things. Like, I didn't walk in with expectation. I didn't walk in with these are the questions that I want to know. Like, it's like, nah, we here is what I remember. Now, ex my sister, I don't know. I was a little intoxicated, so it could have very much been a fuck you moment, but I don't remember feeling it because we took pictures and stuff afterwards. So I don't think it was that, but hey, I don't know. He had got me flowers and things like that, and afterwards, I just really remember leaving New York, just not necessarily on cloud nine, but I felt good about the fact that I was able to make amends without walking into the situation feeling like I'm owed something. Um, and from there, he would call me. Him and my mom do the same shit. They would call, not really have real conversations. I think at that point, like, you just don't know what to say to people, that you feel like you've wronged, or you just don't know what the fuck to say. So instead, you make your one-offs and you go from there, which is okay too, right? So it's like it's just about the show up. um and what I'm learning now in this journey is that sometimes, as you're trying to reconcile with other folks, you must also ask them how they are looking to be supported. Because even though I may not be comfortable with showing up in a certain capacity, that may be the capacity that you need. So in order for you to not necessarily get over the thing, but in order for me to help aid you in getting over the thing, I have to show up in a way that makes sense to you. Similarly to love languages, right? It's not necessarily knowing your love language, right? But it's knowing what your partner's love language is, so that you can love them properly in theirs. It ain't got shit to do with mine, and they are supposed to engage with me so they can understand mine, so they can love me in mine. Whole other exchange. But yeah. So from there, we would have like one-off conversations, and I'm really bringing it up now. I'm really pissed because he would leave like voice mails on my phone if I didn't answer. And at that time, I was still working, so it's like, okay, I wouldn't answer because it was 30 seconds worth of convo. What you want, daddy? Like, what you want? I'm busy right now. As it pertains to life, like, oftentimes we think that we have time, was my thing. So I'm like, if I'm not in a space to answer the phone, or if I'm not in a space to reply to a text message or whatever, then I just won't do that. And for me, that happens often because I honestly feel like I have time. Fast forward to 2020, we're in the midst of a whole fucking pandemic. I done started school. Life is different. Life is very uncertain at this time. So it is what it is. And I remember I literally just started this new class. It was my best friend's birthday. And she and I kind of had like a falling out, which was very random for the both of us, I want to say, because we literally just had a conversation about it. And we didn't think, right? So once we got into a space where we were like, all right, girl, whatever it is, let's figure it the fuck out. Her birthday was the next day. So I brought her birthday in with her, and I was like, all right, well, I can host your game night so you don't have to do the things. And she was like, all right, cool. So we go next day. I just started the class. The class was stress management and writing for the web. It was like a blog class. And I get a phone call. I'm already stressed because I'm at this Airbnb trying to do homework right before this party. I've gotten better. I'm still last minute, but definitely gotten better. But yeah, so I'm stressed out about that. Already have like some self doubt. Number one, that I'm able in like I'm in school, that I'm able to pass classes and still do the things, right? So it's like, okay, we're here, and there's a whole pandemic going on. I get a phone call from my sister. My homeboy and I are there setting up. I think he made the food, and I'm all cheery. Hey girl, what's up? Bop, bop, bop. And she's like, Tiffany, it's not that type of call. Trigger warning. Daddy committed suicide. And I'm like, what? I'm sorry. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, so many emotions felt like filled the room, right? So fast forward, rewind back to the time where his wife died, and I remember going off and really doing the things, but also in my mind, what came up for me was, if this man dies, right, there is going to be a part of you that is gone, regardless of his presence or lack thereof. There were still two entities that came together to create life for you, right? So regardless of how you see it, how you feel about it, this is still going to be a thing that affects you. Fast forward now to 2020, and it happens. Now for me, I was very taken aback. I did not know how to feel. Mind you, I literally just meeting the man, right? In 2017. It's not to say that I didn't know him back in those days, but those small interactions, I didn't necessarily get a chance to or get a feel of his heart and who he is. It is not to say that I got the same thing with those 30-second conversations, but it was very different walking into a space without judgment or walking into a space without content for a person. You feel like, I don't know about nobody else, but my walk with Jesus, I feel people. I'm very empathic in that way. So I was able to see him differently. And just to know, like, hey, you're no longer in this world based off of your own record, I guess. I don't know. Um, was troubling to me, number one, because I too battled with suicidal ideations for most of my childhood. Um, yeah, a few attempts. Like there were a lot of things. So I remember going to New York for the funeral. I went for the weekend. I think I stayed for a day. I didn't stay the entire time because number one, I didn't know how to feel. I wanted to be present for my siblings, most definitely, but I didn't know how to feel. And again, it's COVID. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like it was you couldn't have a lot of people in the funeral home. Like it was just a lot going on. Like life was very different for a lot of reasons. And for me, it was just like I don't know how to process this. I truly don't know how to process this. I remember I was talking to this guy, and I feel like I talked about him in one of these uh episodes. I was talking to this guy and I went over there because I was like, I can't. I really tried to stay. I did try to stay for my friend. I told her what had happened, and she's like, everybody like drunk and high and doing the things. It's a fucking party, right? So I'm just sitting there trying to do the games. I'm snappy and rude. I didn't drink anything. It was just a lot going on. And one of my friends saw it. So he's like, yo, what's up with you? Like, you all right? And I'm like, nah, I literally just found out this news. And he was like, Tiffany, go the fuck home. Like, why would you stay here? Why would you stay here? And for me, whenever like traumatic things happen, I feel the need to kind of just throw myself into situations that don't necessarily need me so that my mind isn't on the thing, right? But it just stayed there. And I really, when I say I didn't know how to process, how do you grieve a man that you didn't know? Right? Like I don't have a relationship with you, or a real one anyway, like a tangible relationship that I can recant, like recall. I heard it in my mind. that I can recall, like going to the park with my dad, or he came to my recitals, and I didn't have that relationship. There were a few moments in time that we were able to build memories, but outside of that, most of it wasn't great. So it's like, okay, how do you mourn? How do you mourn a person? How do you mourn a relationship like this? What do you do? What do you say? So I went to my friend's house, not my friend, the guy's house, and he was like, "Are you okay? Like, what do you need?" And I'm like, I don't know. I felt so numb. I remember feeling so numb. Like, we did the do, of course, and I was just like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And I sat on the edge of his bed and I silently sobbed. It was very weird. It was weird. But I'm a weird girl. I don't give a fuck. But I sat there and I cried. Um, Fast forward to the funeral. I remember going, and I remember being pissed. I remember solely being pissed off the first time. Like, number one, I'm on this new journey with Christ. Mind you, I got baptized in 2020. So I'm learning new things, right? And the people that I'm learning them from, because I wasn't able to go and do the research myself or actually seek God myself, I didn't know what relationship was. I was literally solely based on religion, right? So it's like, okay, cool. Um, I remember being pissed. Y'all talking about this man in heaven, and for me, growing up in the church, they said there are a few sins that happen that people, you automatically go to hell, right? Blasphemy, suicide, definitely being one of them. So it's like, what the hell? He not. I remember being pissed, y'all. I was so fucking mad. I was confused. There was a lot going on, and I'm just like, okay, cool. But he not up there. Me. And they were asking, they was asking people if they wanted to come up and speak. Oh, before that, people were coming in. First of all, this man, we only have like 10 people in the fucking funeral home. He had a whole line. This nigga was the king of fucking Harlem, okay? Like, he touched a lot of lives. So people are now coming up to us, me, my siblings, like, oh, your dad helped raise me, da da da, and me burning up on the inside of this motherfucking building because he ain't do none of that shit for me. Wrong time, wrong place, Tiffany. But still, like, I remember being so fucking mad. And in a blink of a moment, when I tell y'all God works and he is real, like, baby, it's no other way that anything or anybody could have gotten me out of my emotions in that moment. They was asking for people to kind of come up and speak or say words and yada yada yada. So I got up, and in the midst of me getting up, I went and said, I remember just saying that my daddy loved me. I'm like, first of all, I got up and I said that I'm his love child. If I can find this video, if I can find a video, I'm gonna put it. But I tried to make a joke, and I don't know if it went over people's heads or whatever. I don't know if people laughed. Maybe they couldn't hear me, but it was what it was. Um, but I just remember getting up, and the peace of God was so real and so prevalent. Like, I got up, and I just remember saying, "My Father loved me, regardless of what is here, what ain't here." My Father reminded me that I was loved every chance that he could. And that's what he did in those 30-second conversations, those voice mails that he would leave when I wouldn't answer the phone. Remember that you a blue blood, baby. My daddy was crazy, but he loved me. He absolutely did, to the capacity in which that he could. And for me, I remember feeling like this sense of overwhelming peace where I was just like, all right, cool. Don't even focus on none of this. Like, let's just be. And after all of that, right? I didn't even, yeah, no, I did. I remember just being pissed because I'm like, nigga, if I stayed around and I didn't kill myself, or if I didn't die by suicide, you definitely could have stayed around for me. Like, I remember feeling that. And for all of those feelings to kind of go away in the swoop of a second, it's like, okay, cool, we here. And even still, it's like playing with Jesus. Still, another story for another day. But even with that notion or that understanding, like, I went into the rest of it. Like, I have to. For me, I'm a person of process, if that makes sense. While yes, I have high functioning ADHD, and sometimes creating processes can be hard sometimes, but I thrive on processes, if that makes sense. So I have to understand why a thing is a thing before I can move forward with a thing. So understanding what my dad, or how he was afterwards. So we went back home, of course we ain't had no repays or nothing like that because it's COVID. So everybody went home. I went to my sister's house. Everybody came back to my sister's place, and we were drinking, fellowshipping, sharing stories and everything else. All of us went through the exact same thing with my dad, where he gives us beer. I don't know why he get a kids beer, but he do, which is fucking crazy. But again, my daddy was crazy. But also understanding that he himself has had a long line of mental health. I don't want to say issues, but yeah, like he was battling mental health. Himself, his family also did the same. His mother tried to commit suicide, is what I learned, and she wanted to break her fucking legs. I just want to say here, I would be pissed. Now it's not funny, but I'd be mad as shit if I tried to kill myself and now I can't walk. Bitch, mad about it. Okay, and no, it's not funny. I am not here to make a joke. Again, as a person who has undergone it themselves, I get it. I know what that fucking torment is like. I've been there. So it's not that I am making a joke, but sometimes you have to laugh off the bullshit in order to keep fucking fighting. There are people where their attempts have been successful and they have died by the hands of suicide. And I am not here to make light of that. Also, too, that shit was crazy. I would be mad as shit. Just saying. Um, But yeah, I remember kind of leaving, going back home. That was the first time I actually hiked. Literally, I was getting off of the train coming back from New York. I went home, changed my clothes, went on my very first hike. So the incident kind of changed my trajectory around just being active and telling people that you love them, and just, like, trying to be more present, even though life still happens for me. And sometimes I still think that I got time, so I won't answer the phone or whatever. But that changed. It changed me. It changed the way that I thought about my dad. My mom and I had a conversation around their relationship, or about him, and why she kind of kept me away from him for so long, based off of these things, and how she still wanted to, provide me a space to make my own decisions and all of that stuff. We had that conversation on Father's Day. I wanted to write in my stepfather a letter because he wanted to adopt me my mom, when he and my mom got married, and I respectfully declined. Number one, it's just like, yeah, I already had a man to let me down. I don't need another. And with my dating history, niggas just keep letting me down, right? So it's like, all right, I don't need any more letdown. I appreciate you for offering and being there and being willing, but I'm okay, is what I remember. So, but I wrote him a letter just letting him know that I am very thankful for him stepping up to the plate, and he didn't have to. You literally don't have to, but you choose to, and I was very appreciative of that. And I think that I'm happy that I was able to do that. Honestly, thinking about it now, I'm happy that I was able to do that before he passed, because he passed in 2022. It was very shortly after. So yeah, yeah, or maybe it was 23. It might have been 23. 23. Um, but that understanding of rejection, right? Um, as it pertains to women and men or folks who are interested in those relationships, right? Because it probably looks similar to folks who are interested in the same sex. I don't know. I am not. So I can't speak to that. But I'm saying it may look similar as it pertains to rejection. If you are rejected by the same sex, so if you're rejected by your dad or you're rejected by your mom, and vice versa, like it embeds something in you. So I know for me, dating or talking to people or whatever, I didn't feel like wanted. So I easily fall for people who like want me, right? Now, number one, there has to be some level of attraction there. Sometimes yeah, sometimes no, right? Um, just being honest, because we're honest here. But yeah, so I'm just like, all right, cool. But understanding where that comes from, like that is a trauma response. And I, for one, have gotten fucking tired of responding to trauma. Done. Shit, or at least I thought.